Ken Johnson with Hall of Fame boxing promoter.
I like the sound of that.
Hey, props to you, man.
Thank you, baby.
I was only seeing you once since really, you got certified.
That was a very nice thing. It's like I'm pretty excited about that, and it's a nice affirmation that I did some good things in this game.
Let's talk about your latest thing, getting this Pro Grades Hooker fight.
This is a great fight, man. Regis and Hooker, they're going to go in there, they're going to try to hurt each other. The winner of the fight's right back at the top of the division. Loser of the fight's got a problem, so everything's at stake. This is the best fight you can make right now in the 140-pound division. Ramirez has two mandatories. Josh Taylor's got a mandatory. These are the two next best guys, and they're fighting each other. That's what it's all about.
How come we don't see that as much in boxing? Like Regis,
because not everybody's like Regis and Hooker. I got to give props to Regis and Hooker. They said, "Go get me." Both of them said, "Get me the hardest fight, get me the biggest fight, get me the most money you can get me. Do the best you can, and get me the biggest fight you can make." And this is the biggest fight we can make. And you know, DAZN and Matchroom stepped up to make it happen, and I'm happy that the fight's happening.
How come the fight's happening in the East Coast? It would be a seller in Houston or San Antonio, which is neutral site, and it's right between both of their homes.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's also availability of the room and a lot of other factors. But we would have been, believe me, we would have been okay any place.
Do you think this fight goes to distance?
No. No, I don't. I think someone gets knocked out, and I think it's likely to be my old friend Mo.
Get some insights of the behind stories. We see this. There's like a lot. It's all friendly, but it seems like there's a little rivalry between you and Bomac and Regis in that whole camp. Where does all that come from?
No, I mean Bomac loves the fight. Look, Crawford and Regis have always had a little bit of back and forth, and Bomac and Regis have had a little back and forth. Now Mo Hooker wasn't with Bomac. Now Mo Hooker's with Bomac, so Mo feels confident that he's getting better. Bomac, look what Bomac did with. Look, I got to give Bomac some props. Herring, they did a great job with that kid, and I mean that kid went to down there with Crawford and all those guys, and he came out of there a much better fighter and a champion and an accomplished world champion. You know, I give Bomac a lot of props. The man's a good boxing guy, knows what he's doing. But Bobby Benton's a good boxing guy too, and Regis is a super talented kid. I still think Regis is the best 40-pounder in the world. April 17th, Regis is going to start staking claim to that again. He's going to go in there and take care of business against Mo.
What different Regis we're going to see between the one that fought Josh Taylor and the one that we're going to see April 17th?
I think you're going to see a hungrier Regis, a more aggressive Regis. I thought that Regis fought a good fight with Taylor. Could have gone either way, the fight. But I thought Taylor fought a great fight for Taylor, and I don't think Regis had his best night. I think Regis could be better on April 17th than he was. Look, it's hard to go to another country, promote every single day for 30 days and work your ass off promoting a fight, and you're in hostile territory. The announcers are against you, the crowd's against you. Everything's sort of stacked against you. That fight, if it was in America, the same exact fight, I think Regis would have gotten the decision. That's how close that fight was. Take nothing away from Taylor, he's a great fighter. So's Regis. April 17th in Maryland, and Regis is going to prove that he's the best.
Switching gears, we know you watch all things boxing. First, we'll talk about the actual fight. What's your take on Fury Wilder 2? Especially since you got the Deontay ties.
Brilliant performance by Fury. Got carried into the ring as the king, and he left the ring as the king. So I give him nothing but props. He's a terrific boxer. He's got really good defense. He's a fucking behemoth monster. Another baldy like me, but this motherfucker's 6'9", and he can box, he can defend, and he showed in the fight with Deontay that he can also punch and be aggressive. And you got to give the guy credit, man. We all thought he was kidding, and when he led up to the fight, he said, "I'm going to go after this guy. I'm going to try to hurt him. I'm knocking this guy out," and he did it. Now that being said, that wasn't the Deontay I'm used to seeing, and I'm not giving reasons or excuses. He didn't look good to me from the first bout. I just don't think it was his night. Something was wrong. I know something was wrong. I don't know what it was, but something was wrong. And look, Fury's a great fighter. If they fight a third time, Fury's going to be a big favorite when they fight a third time. But Deontay's probably going to be better than he just was. And all the people that are writing Deontay off, man, that's wrong. And I don't work with the guy anymore, but I got nothing but love for him. I mean, he chose me to work with him for a period of time, and we had a good run. So I ain't going to say a bad word about him. I root for him and his success. I think it's a hard fight, a rematch with Fury, but I expect that he can be better than he just was. I'm not predicting anything, but I can tell you he can be better than he just was.
Do you think people overanalyze the fight, not really looking at the facts? If you really look at, I know you watch all things boxing. When Deontay popped him, when he got up like the Undertaker in the 12th round, he charged him. It's like he stumbled. It was fight or flight. He was on survival mode, but it's like he learned, like, oh, if I press this motherfucker, he can't do nothing.
I think that,
and he picked up from there and went straight into the next fight.
One thing I'll agree with you. When you get to the background of what you just said, what you're basically saying was he learned some stuff from the first fight, and he put it to good use in the second fight.
But nobody's talking about that.
And I think that that's right. I think he learned some stuff, and I think that he felt that if he could stay on Deontay's chest and press him back, that Deontay's offense doesn't work so good on the retreat. I was a little surprised how much Deontay was on the retreat, and I thought that Deontay going backwards was a very big advantage for Fury. But for whatever reason, and I'm not talking about anybody's excuses, but for whatever reason, it didn't look to me like Deontay's legs were there. And in fairness to Tyson Fury, maybe he had a whole lot to do with taking him away, because he did his thing that night. He did his thing with style.
And what do you think about this pay-per-view numbers? 875,000 buys.
Man,
like not the worst, but not the mill that everybody thought.
The pay-per-view model is very difficult these days, man. People, with all the choice of programming out there and streaming services and programming everywhere through your device, through your television, through every which way, through your computer, it's hard to get people to spend $80 for like a main event that's like between 30 minutes and 1 hour. And on top of it, there's massive, widespread theft. So there's a lot of issues. I don't think it was still a big fight. I think that it was well promoted. I ain't faulting anybody, but the numbers have to be disappointing in general.
And final question, what's your excitement and what do you think the state of boxing is? Come off the heels of that big fight. You got the fight this weekend. We got big fights coming up in the next couple months, like Hooker and Prograis.
Look, boxing,
Canelo come back in May.
I've been in the sport for 30 years. Boxing's not going anywhere. I still think that people get carried away because a lot of people have been spending a lot of money, but then you get a little bit of a reality check. The ratings aren't incredible for boxing compared to other sports. The pay-per-view numbers weren't amazing. A lot of money is being spent. We still have to make our sport better. We have to make sure the decisions are just. We have to make sure the matchups are the best. The best have to fight the best. We have to eliminate, there are too many fights and too many. Thank God this fight Saturday night on the Zone. I love Garcia Vargas. I think it's a competitive fight. Mikey at 135 and 140 in my mind is one of the best fighters out there. Mikey at 47 is not as good as Mikey at 35 and 40. And Jesse is a big cat. He's a big 47-pounder. Jesse's a strong, active, aggressive kid. This is a hell of a fight. And this card is a great card Saturday night. And we got to make cards where you have, the fights have to be competitive. And we also have to go out there and attract younger fans. We got a lot of work to do. I'm optimistic about boxing, but we can't, because people are spending a lot of money on it, doesn't mean boxing's where we need it to be. It's not.